Okay. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Set Free, episode 5. Today, I have a special guest with me, Memory, and we're using a different platform today. So you're going to see some changes on the screen. We apologize for that because we tried to use our usual platform. It wasn't working. We are also going to just tell you that there might be a delay in audio since we are far apart. But other than that, I hope you enjoy the show. So just to introduce Memory, Memory is the founder of Revolved Generation. It's a youth organization that is based in Zimbabwe, and she's doing a lot of great work that we'll get into as we go ahead with the show. Welcome to the show, Memory.
Thank you, Wadzanai. Such an honor to be here, and I'm excited to be with you today in this session.
Likewise. So let's just get into it. So I know your organization, like we say, that it focuses on youth issues, but mainly you focus on mental health issues. So tell us, to you, what is mental wellness?
Well, when I look at mental wellness is the positive state of mind where you're in an order and you're functioning well for your best interest. So we are saying with your mind, you can think, you can act, you can feel in the ways that can impact you in a positive way on your social being, your environment, and everyone that is around you.
Wow, I think that's a very good explanation. So, people these days we talk about mental health disorders. Are there especially those that we do not acknowledge in our Black community? Because it's something that is not really common in our community, where we accept mental health issues or mental disorders. So which ones in your work did you see that people are suffering from them in the Black community, but they're not really acknowledged?
Okay, when we look at it, there are so many disorders, and in our culture, African culture, Zimbabwean culture, we usually shrug it off. When you look at anxiety, when you look at depression, when you look at personality disorders, those things are not really taken into consideration. So when we see people who are suffering from depression, when we see people who have bipolar disorders, usually we don't notice it. So they suffer alone because in our community, in our culture, we do not recognize those things. So it's still a challenge for us. When you look at post-traumatic stress, many people are suffering from stress, but we don't usually see it. They suffer alone. And when you want to talk to people about how you are feeling, we shrug it off. We just tell you, no, we don't need to hear your problems at this moment. So depression is very common, anxiety is very common, but we don't see it. It's not something that is common to us. It's not something that we say we are used to. No. So almost many mental issues here in Zimbabwe or even in Africa, it's for us, it's not really something that we put into consideration, or we take them as something that is very important to us.
I think that's a very good observation, because for sure it's something that we don't really talk about in our community. So in all that you've said, of the disorders that are there and the issues surrounding mental wellness in Zimbabwe, what is Revolve Generation's role in all of this?
Well, I'm so excited to announce that we recently launched a campaign called A Cry for Help on mental health awareness. So our role is to empower, to educate the young people of Zimbabwe and even the local people in Zimbabwe so that they are aware of the mental health issues that are happening, that have been arising due to the challenges that we are facing in the nation due to the COVID-19 pandemic. So we are here to empower, we are here to educate, and we are here to spread the love, the healing, and the care that our young people need in Zimbabwe.
Mm-hmm. So tell me, like, what exactly? You've mentioned something very important, where you say that because of this whole pandemic that is happening, there is a lot of these mental issues like going on. What is the most rampant one right now, like in your community, in your surroundings in Zim?
Okay, when I'm looking at it, anxiety, is one of the issues that are at the top. Depression, you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You don't know how the situation is going to be in Zimbabwe. For so many years we've been struggling. For so many years we've had economic challenges. On top of that, we have COVID-19. So anxiety, depression, people actually have panic attacks, but they don't even know that they're having panic attacks because they are not aware of the mental issues, mental disorders that are there. So currently here in Zimbabwe, anxiety, depression, schizophrenia, it's common. Many people are not sleeping right now. At night, they don't sleep. We are supposed to be sleeping, but they are not sleeping, which is a mental disorder that is, rising up in Zimbabwe. You're always thinking of tomorrow, what am I going to do? If there are young people, I'm unemployed, the economy is going down the drain. So how am I going to cope? So these issues, they are at a rise in our nation.
Yeah, it's a pretty challenging time, and I think it's across the globe even. But we've got hope that things will be better. And maybe things can go forward to not normal, but a new normal that is a bit much more bearable. So maybe you can tell me what made you start, Revolved Generation? What made you want to start that? Why?
Well, for me, Revolved Generation is an idea that was birthed in 2015. This was after an unfair dismissal at a job. And to be honest, I went through depression. I suffered depression. But at that moment, I didn't know that this is depression. But during that whole period that I was unemployed, this burden kept on coming in my heart. This pain when I could see young people just roaming around, they're just idle. They are not doing anything. And for me, when I see the young people, they are the drivers of change. They are the future, they are the tomorrow. And if we're just idle, if we're just roaming around, to me, it was a pain. To me, it was a burden. And I say to myself, you know what? I need to start this organization to help our young people in the nation. I can even start here at my home in Kwekwe. That's where I started. It's just a small town, but for me, I said, even if I start small, even if I help one or two young people, even if I help a few people, the best that I can to transform their lives, the best that I can to help them, come up with something that they can do in their lives, it would be something that is satisfying. And I could just see, it was a problem that needed a solution in the society. So that's how I came to start Revolve Generation, but I officially registered it in 2018.
Okay. So would you say that finding that purpose is what probably took you out of depression, or it's something else that took you out of that depression? What made you go out of that phase? What helped you?
Finding the purpose. For me, it was finding the purpose, because for that period that I was at home, staying at home, after I'd been unemployed, it was like for 1.5 years, if I'm not mistaken. To me, it gave me a purpose. To me, it gave me something like there is more. Yes, I need a job, but there is more out there. There's more that I can do. There's more that I can do in our society to add value. So yes, I can go to work, but I need to do something else that is satisfying. I need to do something else that brings change in our community. So that purpose, for me, it drove me out of depression, because I had something to focus on. I had something that is very important, that is valuable to focus on. So it helped me come out of that moment. And for me, having my family around, it was also very important to me. It also helped a lot, because I had the love, I had the support, and I could say what was inside of me. If I'm feeling pain, if I am hurt, I could just discuss it with my family. So it helped me very much, knowing that I have a purpose, knowing that I have family around to support me.
Okay, wow, that's great, and I'm glad that you did. From all that you went through, you actually found something great out of it. So when we're talking about mental wellness in Zimbabwe or Africa as a whole, what do you think can be done differently from what is being done right now about it?
Well, I think we need to work more on the awareness side.
Mm-hmm.
We need to be aware of these things. If you go to the rural areas, someone who's suffering from depression, who is not eating, who is not doing anything, they don't think it's a disorder, they don't think it's any sickness. So we need to have more awareness to reach more people, to work together as a whole and support each other on this. So, awareness, empowering each other, and educating people on mental health. This is very important. So, yes, it's now coming up. People are now starting to talk about mental health. They're now starting to talk about these mental disorders. But we need to do more. We need to empower, do more from what we are doing now. So, it's an issue of speaking out. It's an issue of speaking out and helping people. So I believe if we work more in Africa, in Zimbabwe as a nation, if we speak it more, the voice, make it louder so that people can hear it, so that people are aware. If I have depression, what do I do? If I'm suffering from anxiety, what do I do? Bipolar, what do I do? So it's an issue of awareness, it's an issue of empowering one another, it's an issue of talking more about it. Just like, I was just thinking, just like how we talked about COVID-19 pandemic, every corner, everywhere you turned, it was like COVID, COVID, COVID. That's what we want to do. We want to talk about mental issues like that and spread the healing and help people to process their mindset.
Wow. I think that would be great, and I think it will trigger a big change in all the challenges that we're facing. What do you think is the biggest trigger of mental disorders, amongst the youth? Like today, what do you think, what are the main triggers that trigger all of that?
Well, when I'm looking at Zimbabwe right now, if you look at our economic challenges, the situation in Zimbabwe right now, it can just trigger anxiety, it can just trigger depression. Because for more than 10 years, we've been going down and down and down. There is no hope for the young people. So when we look at it, imagine someone who is graduating today from university. They don't have a job. They know that unemployment is welcoming them outside there. So you see, someone is already angry, someone is already depressed, they're already stressed because the situation in the economy right now doesn't give them those opportunities. I was talking to some lady, she was in her last semester in her program, and she was like, I need counseling. And I'm like, okay, what? She says, I don't know what to do, I don't know where my life is going, I'm just tired, I'm not eating. Then I had to probe more just to understand what's going on. Then she started saying, after I finish school, I will not have a job. I want to help my parents, but I can't. Money issues, she's talking about money. And at that time, that's when we had started the lockdown. And she was looking at everything, it was so gloomy. And to her, that was the end. To her, she didn't see anything beyond. It was just the pandemic, it was just what's going on in Zimbabwe. So imagine she's still in college, but thinking that way. How many are like that? So when you look at it, young people in the economic situation in Zimbabwe, it is a trigger. Unemployment, it is a trigger. Child abuse, it is a trigger. There are so many triggers, and when you look at it, it's very hard. It's something that is difficult, and it's something that someone who's looking for a bright future out there, they don't see any hope, they don't see any light. So you're bound to be anxious, you're bound to be depressed, you're bound to suffer from stress because you don't know what tomorrow is going to be like.
You mentioned something very important, about child abuse. It just got me thinking. Do you also think that even adults, because they're facing the same pressure whereby they are supposed to be taking care of their kids well into their 30s and all of that, do you think that it's also a side effect as a result as well of some form of mental disorder as well that causes them to reflect whatever it is that they're going through through child abuse as well? Do you think that could be a possibility?
Yes, it is very possible. You know, at times, some people, the violence inside of them or the abuse inside of them comes out when you're under pressure. When we look at the situation right now in Zimbabwe, especially someone who has kids, they have 4 children, and yet what they are earning, they cannot even buy the basic. You know, someone cannot even afford the medical aid. They cannot even afford the funeral policy. So imagine the pressure that you have. You want to feed the children, you want school fees, you want, the basic needs. You cannot even meet them. To be honest, it actually triggers something inside of a person. But I believe violence, if you are someone who is already violent, when pressure is added onto you, it's just exposing something that is already inside of you. But I believe with these challenges, with these pressures, yes, it can drive to child abuse. It can drive someone to violence. You know, during this pandemic, we've been hearing of increase in gender-based violence. You know, this pressure, when you're suffering from depression, you're looking for something else to ease your pain. You're looking for something to ease your despair. So it's bound to happen. Someone is bound to abuse someone because of the pain they are feeling inside.
Yeah. And this is just something as well that I'm actually also like thinking about. What about, like social media as well? Do you think it also has a role to, I think with the way it's so, everywhere now, I think some way, somehow in our community, I mean, we always see the Caucasian and the white community and people in Europe usually talking about, social media triggering this, these mental disorders and all of that. Do you think it's also like that here in Africa as a whole, like whereby social media is also affecting us the same way? They are also talking about how it's affecting the youth abroad.
Well, social media has a big role, especially to young people. You know, out of the 24 hours a day, someone is like 10 hours on social media, on Facebook, Instagram, all those platforms. Everyone has an account there. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, they all have accounts there. And you're looking, what is Memory doing? What is so and so doing? What are these celebrities doing? To be honest, you can actually feel pressure from the social media if you are not disciplined. And most of the young people, they don't have that discipline. So it will affect them because you just think, because memory at a vacation somewhere, it's just a photo. I took a photo somewhere and I edited it and I posted it on social media, and someone has got pressure. I want to live that kind of life. I want to live the same as someone on Instagram is living.
Yeah.
It's a very big role, especially nowadays. With the pandemic, everything just went on. So it meant that Facebook, Instagram, everything just was upgraded. Everything was just, put to a rise. So many young people are suffering from that because of social media. They are not disciplined. If we are at the table eating, someone is on Facebook. If we are supposed to be gathering as a family, someone is on Instagram. So almost all the time we are on social media. And for young people, this is something that we need to be aware of, because social media is actually taking most of our time, and most of the disorders that we have, it's because of what we have seen from social media. And some of it, most of the time, it's not reality. It's just posting so that I get so many likes, so that I get many views. And wanting those views, it's going to put pressure on me, because I'm saying how many people have liked my video. After every 5 minutes, I'm checking. So it's taking much of our time.
Yeah, I think you're right on that one. So tell me, with your project for Revolved Generation, what does the future hold for you?
Well, I'm excited because I believe that what's going to be great. And I believe we are going to get many partners, especially on this campaign, partners, sponsors. We want this movement to be big. This is a movement of healing. This is a movement of spreading love and care, and I believe that together we can do it as a team, not just Revolve Generation alone, but with other people, with the people of Zimbabwe. Together we can make something out of this. So I believe Revolve Generation, this is just the beginning for us. And
Yeah.
it's not only going to be Zimbabwe, we are looking to go far in Africa, to go far out there. So for us, this is just the beginning, and this movement, I believe, is going to help many.
Yeah, and I really wish you the best in that movement, because I think it's a very important cause that you've actually taken upon yourself at quite a young age, to focus on. And I think it's really going to make a great impact, and I really hope that people will come on board to assist you. So before we round up, I just wanted to know, what advice do you have, for people who are watching out there regarding, mental wellness and mental health issues?
Well, I would say to the young people out there, your mental health should be a priority, and you don't have to suffer alone. If you are depressed, if you are going through anxiety, whatever issue that you are going through, you don't have to suffer alone. Speak out, talk to someone, because this is a concern. I believe young people are the drivers of change. I believe their voice matters. And I believe if they are well, if they are mentally well, the way we are going to think, the way we are going to act, everything that we are going to do is going to be productive. And this will translate to the community, and this will translate to the nation. So, to the young people out there, whatever you are going through, don't suffer alone. Talk to someone. If you want counseling, go through counseling. We offer free counseling services. We have a counseling psychologist, Memory Ngandini. She is helping people, counseling people and helping them on the mental issues. And it actually helps. And we are getting more counselors joining us in to help with counseling the young people. So don't remain silent. Don't suffer alone. Yes, we can talk about this and we can help you. And even to other people in Zimbabwe, not only young people, because I know the pressure is not only on young people, but to almost everyone here in Zimbabwe. Find someone to talk to. These things are real. Depression is real. It's there. Anxiety is real. It's there. But even though it's real, what are you going to do about it? Let's talk about it. Who you think, if I talk to this person, I will feel okay. Speak it out. And together we will spread the healing together. When we are working together as a team, when we have support together we are bound to be well, and we are bound to heal as a nation.
Yeah, well said. So tell me, if someone wants to get hold of your services, I know I'll put a link in the description of the video and all of that, but maybe you can share with us, how can people get hold of you if they need your help?
Okay, they can contact me on my number, even on WhatsApp. It's 0 7 805. So it's 0777 737 805. Or they can email us on info@revolvegeneration.com. They can contact us on our social media platforms. We are there. We are there. We are just a click away. If you contact us, we are there to help you. We have the counseling teams. They are right there waiting, for us. So if you can contact on the phone, on the email, or even on our social media platforms, it's still okay.
Okay. What about those who want to also believe in the cause that you're doing and would want to assist? How do they go about that as well?
Okay, they can use the same details For the number for calling, they can use the same number, and even the email, they can contact us on the same email.
Okay. Thank you so much, Memory. I think this was a very enlightening talk that we've had. And I just hope that someone who's in need of your services would actually see this. It will reach out to them, and then, they can get the help that they need. We are really living in unprecedented times whereby mental wellness has become so rampant that even you can be suffering from it and then you're not even aware of what exactly is happening.
Yes.
So I thank you so much for
Yes.
taking your time to meet with me on this show and share what you're doing with the rest of the audience as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, people, we'll catch you next time on the next episode for Set Free. We have a very special guest again coming through. Thank you.